Knights of Apollo, do we have a great one today? Essentially, we have a 1v1 me on Rust Total War Edition. We've got two teams here. Now, technically, this is a 2v2, but we got two teams here that hate each other. They were going at it in the Discord, you know, slinging names, calling the other one noob, and like gentlemen, they settled this one on the battlefield. So, yeah, we've got blood sports today. Two players that were, again, going at it, hating each other, and arguing, and this is going to be a lot of fun because they're going to be battling for bragging rights. They're going to, you know, put the money where their mouth is and see who's the better player. Now, before we jump into this battle, it's important that we get the lore for this battle. We got to figure out the context of how this happened, how the players went after each other, and how, you know, they eventually came to this point of settling their differences on the battlefield. Okay, so this happened on the Discord, and we've got Frizzer here, who randomly goes into the general chat and says, GG easy. You know a player's looking for some spice when he's saying easy after a match, and he's sharing the end result of the battlefield. Or end result of the battle, I should say. It's a 3v3. Yeah, so he's just, you know, he's gloating. He's doing his victory lap. Then you got the opposing players. You got Ghostman, and he's like, yo, this guy is so ass. Had to camp to win. And then we've got some memes coming out, making fun of Ghostman, saying he's crying about it. And then he's posting some clips here. Check this out. He's posting some clips. It looks like he caught an enemy general off guard, and he's playing as Saba, it looks like, and that's it. Hey, I appreciate the receipts. I appreciate the clips. We are ass? Like, what's this? Laughing at yourself, question mark? Ghostman's like, the fuck is this crash out? You're ass at the game. Just accept it. And oh, here we go. We got more receipts coming in from Frizzer. So Frizzer, once again, is showing some, I don't know, victories here. He won some Pyrrhic victory on a 2v2. I like it. I like the energy. And now we got Jackman coming in. He's like, why are you still crying? Why are you still crying, Frizz? Once again, he's showing some receipts. I love it. And then Ghostman, fucking loser. Cheating in Rome too, crying about the game just makes it sadder. I don't know. I don't see him crying about it. I mean, I see him posting his victory. He's like, must I keep sending? Look, he's got more receipts here. So this is getting heated right now. It's getting hot. He keeps going. He's like posting. I don't know what he's posting here. I don't know what this is, but he's posting more receipts right here, more end game results. He's just going at it, guys. Look at this. Oh, we can really zoom in here. That's pretty nice. But yeah, he's just posting stuff. Farming randoms is insane. Then flexing about it. Jackman coming in with some heat right now. But then he's pleading his case that these aren't a bunch of randoms. Now Frizzer's throwing in that he remembered 1v1ing you, or I guess Jackman, and destroying him. So again, this goes on and on and on, and they're just kind of bickering. If you guys want to see the full stuff, you can go on. Here's another clip. This is great. I don't know. This just saving the receipts kind of thing. Look at him. I have no idea what he's showing. Oh, he's claiming a push through. I wouldn't really call that a push through. It just happens, but a couple units got passed by over there. So I guess he's claiming, you know, oh, you're calling me a cheater? You're a cheater. But this is where things really start to pick up. Now we have Reaper King. And he's like, hey, dude, this screen, I don't know any of those people, half the people in that screenshot. You're taking on nobodies. You're gloating about beating possibly new players. And now we're at our peak here because Reaper's explaining like how you're weak. And he says, can I see a game of yours on Tireless Attack EE? I don't know what EE means, but someone says, stop arguing with veteran bros. You're trash. And then he comes in, he goes, better than anyone else in these Garbo servers. Now you're kind of throwing shade at me. This is my Discord. This is not a Garbo server, okay, man? So Frizzer he's just burning all bridges. You can see 3 people. I'll add a clown emoji right there. You know, That one felt a little personal to me. So, now I'm kind of involved. I'm invested. And then he says, no skill to become a tourney player, quote unquote, just faction and what counters it. So essentially, he's saying that, it's not even about skill, but it's more about faction knowledge and what counters what. Frizzer continues to explain that, we can have a good team, we can win, but if both teams are good, it really comes down to factions and what counters what, which I think is not true. Now he's claiming there's not as much skill involved compared to other games in Total War. So now he's claiming that this game is like easy. I don't know what he's talking about. This is where Reaper comes in, quoting his old little message here. Better than anyone else in these Garbo servers. Reaper comes in, he goes, I have 3.3k hours. Are you sure about that, little bro? Are you sure about that? And then he takes on the challenge of Frizzer. Can I see a game of yours on Tylus Attack? Sure, when I'm home, I'll play Tylus Attack. And it was at this point, guys, that I assume both teams have agreed and they have set up a match. And that's where we are now. We've got Reaper King taking on Frizzer's challenge. He came in here guns a-blazing, trying to burn the whole place down with his rage bait. But, I respect the fact he's actually in a match, taking on Reaper King and his teammate. So let's that's where we're at, guys. That's the drama. Obviously, I'm not super serious about this. This is fun to me. It's not a big deal. Nobody was that harsh, and it seemed more like just guys being guys having fun here. But nonetheless, I do like the fact that we have a match here that is about who's better. It's about egos, and we're gonna see whose ego is the biggest and whose ego is about to deflate. So let's now check out the factions, the army comps, the player names, and get this battle underway. Let's start with the attackers. Of course, we have Reaper King going as Tylus, just as he promised, bringing a deadly force of tribal warriors. His teammate going as Carthage. And I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's like Hagihai or Hagihai. Sorry if I butchered it. But yeah, he's bringing a cool force of Carthaginians, and that is the attacking force. Now looking at the challenger, who is on defense, defending this beautiful barbarian settlement, we have Iceni, led by the infamous Fizzar. So he's going with the Iceni boys, the painted boys, the slinging boys, and his teammate Skolish, who is going to be playing as Galatia, which is a great faction as well. So a lot of barbarians are going to be battling it out, with the exception of Carthage. If you're Roman, then Carthage is barbarian. But anyways, besides the point, those are the players. Those are the factions. And guys, let's see this epic blood sport match come to a conclusion and see who can really put their money where their mouth is. And here we go, battle underway. Tylus moving forward his siege towers, getting ready to attack. We've got Carthage using their siege equipment. We got the giant ballistas here, and they're going for this section of wall. This is kind of the go-to strategy for this map. Most players attack this wall here. Sometimes you'll see players attempt to attack here. It's tough. It makes sense that this is kind of the standard here for most players. And, they're trying. This is an epic match right here. This is, they're fighting for a lot. They're fighting for bragging rights. And, of course, I think each side is going to kind of play it safe. I'd be very shocked if we see any kind of unconventional strategy, tactics in this battle. But we'll see again how this plays out. Now we can see some Galatians on the battlefield, and he's got some mercenary Syrian archers. We got some Galatian swords supporting them. Iceni has some slingers as well. Looks like, yeah, the Britain slingers, and he's got some painted ones near this area. So this is going to be quite the showdown right here. Tylus, are they going to actually use these siege towers, or are they going to use them as more of a shield? Oftentimes you see attackers kind of use these siege towers as a shield and kind of protect their men from incoming archer fire. Because usually, since this is higher ground, usually they bring down the walls here and they storm this section of the wall with infantry. So they'll use the towers to kind of protect the men. But Tylus is pushing up an insane amount of tribal warriors, guys. Look at this. Oh, yep, see, he's doing it. He's forming up the towers. This is just all textbook right here. This is textbook strategy. And all these tribal warriors are going to be a real tough pain to deal with. This is some of the finest fighting men that you can bring in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the defenders try to approach this, try to deal with the tribal warriors. So something weird has happened with my Rome 2 game. The settings have completely changed. I don't know why. When I zoom in, it's like really fast. And I'm trying to mess with the settings. Also, the paintbrush is gone. I tried to fix that. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I'm just mentioning it. If you feel like there's something a little different with my videos today, I got to figure out why my settings all just kind of went to reset mode. All right, well, the siege towers are officially in place. He's got 2 rows here. If you know, it's the same strategy. I've actually never seen that, the 2 rows of towers, but they will essentially do the same thing. They sent up like a Libyan hoplite unit to burn down this tower. They just ran them up this way. It's a cheap unit, so losing the men is not a big deal. But they're throwing torches up there, and they just burnt it down. So this is so cool. This is some competitive, leave no stone unturned tactics here as they try to get every single advantage they can get to achieve a victory. And you can tell, you could just feel the tension in the air as these players go at it, and they are just making sure they're doing everything in their power to claim victory here today. Now, it'll be really cool to see what the defenders do here. The defenders haven't done much. Not that they necessarily need to do anything at this point, but, you know, no sally out, no aggressive play, no ambushers. You kind of expect some ambushers. I could be wrong, though. I mean, maybe there's something waiting later on in the battle, which would be interesting. But Carthage has set up his siege towers here. Again, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes you see players use this as a wall against the arrows, and sometimes you see attacking players actually use the siege towers and attack this section of wall because it's fairly open. You'll also see some players attack this side of the wall as well. Again, very open. Notice that the defenders are also kind of leaving them a lot of space there. So it's not surprising, but it does look like he's just going to use this as a big shield. And now we've got some slingers getting at it. Actually, are those slingers? No, these are the archers, and they're vanishing into thin air. No, but they're just out of sight there. But they are just letting loose some arrows, getting some pop shots, basically, on the enemy. And now we have the wall completely destroyed. And this is where we're going to see, most likely, the attackers begin their main assault. Now, little thing to note here, guys. This little siege tower wall here he's got going on, he has not abandoned these towers. He's left this infantry here, so maybe there's a chance that he actually attacks these walls, which would be pretty interesting. A delayed attack while this main assault is unraveling here. Libyan hoplites. They are in position. A cheaper unit, but they are accompanied with some Celtic warriors. This is like a mid-tier unit. Let's see what they do here. Now, waiting for their attack, we've got Iceni sending forward the Sacred Band. So the Sacred Band, you got some Sword Band, you got some Levy Freemen. So you got a mix of different units. And yeah, over here, it's still same thing. Galatians holding, Iceni holding, archers in position. I think the archers are in position here to try to get some flanking fire on the attackers if they go through that breach point. And oh, Carthage is firing back at these Syrian archers. What is Carthage? They got the Cretan archers. Yeah, the mercenary Cretan archers. So he's moving up some archers. Finally, we're going to see some archer skirmish play here as the two go at it. And here comes Tylus. Tylus sending forward the Celtic warriors, and we have our first clash of infantry as the Libyan hoplites push in. And here comes some support with the Celtic swords. And now the two are going at it, guys. The two teams fighting for bragging rights, settling this feud on the battlefield. How exciting to see. Now, this is going to be a bit of a meat grinder, this map, at least. You're going to see a lot of cycle charging. You're going to see a lot of tactical plays with the archers to try to get some sword side angles and whatnot. Here's the mercenary Cretan archers firing over these walls, blindly firing, but they see what's going on, and they are trying to hit the reserves. Actually going for the sword band. It's a good target to go for, and they are mostly hitting them on sword side. So they're doing some pretty good damage right now, and this unit is down to 70 men. That is concerning. Iceni, that is their weakness, is projectiles. It's something you got to look out for. You know, Iceni, it's not my favorite faction. I've seen Iceni be very strong in the right hands. Those hands are definitely not mine because I don't play them as much. But yeah, Iceni is a bit more, you got to get creative with them, and I feel like if they're just taking on Tylus with brute force head on, they're not going to win this battle. They've got to come up with some sort of good flank here, get creative with the slingers, and here's some constant cycle charging. That's good to see. Good cycle charging. He's got Galatian swords now joining into the fray, trying to hold back the Celtic warriors. And guys, we have yet to see the Tylus warriors. The Tylus, that's what they're called, right? Why am I drawing a blank here? I think they're sitting in reserve here. This is, yeah, the tribal warriors. Okay. You can see how I got it mixed. The Tylus warriors? What are you talking about? The tribal warriors in position, ready to go forward. So once we see them in action, things are about to get interesting very quick. Archers, look at this. Beautiful position here with the Cretan archers. He's now have 2 units stacked up over here, just letting loose some hatred, and you can definitely feel the hatred in the air. And these towers are doing a great job of protecting them from the skirmish fire of potential defenders. And now we've got an archer unit going around the towers. Let's see, what is he going for? There's a specific target he's trying to hit here. I don't really see anything that really pops out that you want to kind of focus down. Maybe these Galatian swords, possibly. But here's another Galatian sword unit starting to break. Tylus is holding on with their Celtic warriors, but I think pretty soon they're going to have to send in the tribal warriors. And now we've got the mercenary Samnite warriors. They're another powerful, strong infantry that is going to be absolutely tough to hold back. Over in this small choke point, we've got a unit of sword band. They're losing. Well, it's back and forth. It's back and forth. They're taking on tribal warriors. So I think this is going to be a losing fight for the sword band unless they send some archer support, some infantry support, something of that nature. Nice. There we go. There's some skirmishing support there. Galatian swords. Not really getting a great hit on them, mostly hitting their shields, but it's something. And I like that they formed up this like column here, which leaves this open for the Javis to attack. That's a pretty good play there by the defenders. Now we've got mercenary Assyrian archers. They're opening fire. What are they going for? I think they're going for the Carthaginian archers. They are in full retreat. Oh my gosh. Why does that look so goofy? Again, my settings have been so... Look, when you zoom in, look how pixelated they are. Looks like it's like a sprite game or something. There's something happened with my game. I don't know. The settings have all been messed up, but that's okay. Still looks really good. Celtic warriors, mercenary Samnite warriors coming in, taking on the chosen swords band. So this is the cream of the crop for the Iceni army. And dust is being thrown up everywhere from all the footsteps and all the warfare, all the fighting going on here. And now we've got a clash of Galatian legionaries. Another great unit, a solid unit, very good for their price. They're now going in and trying to help out with it wasn't a great cycle charge, but they are cycling in and out troops here to try to carve out and chip away at the attacking infantry. Now, like I said, guys, this is going to be a meat grinder. Lots and lots of infantry going in and out, cycle charging. Galatian swords, 83 of them breaking right now. Only have 41 kills against the tribal warriors. And I feel like the defenders realize that the tribal warriors are going to be an absolute menace right now. And they're going to have to rely on a lot of skirmishing, a lot of javies to try to chip away at them. And that's certainly what they're trying to do. But the attackers are doing a good job of just keeping their infantry intact, keeping them in the fight, which, makes it more difficult. More difficult for the javies to land their hits. Their friendlies get in the way. And here comes more and more reserves pushing forward into this fight. And the archers are starting to let loose their hatred at a much higher rate. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units here. 2 units here by Carthage. I mean, there's a lot going on. Is the ballista out of ammo? I assume so. They did bring down 2 breach points, and they have 64 kills. So they did get some collateral damage, possibly, or maybe they had some shots left over that they used to fire into the enemy infantry blob. But this, like I said, guys, this is going to be a grind fight, and this is not a situation that favors Iceni and Galatia, in my opinion. I think that Carthage and Tylus has the superior infantry based on the nature of their factions, so they need to rely, the defenders need to rely on something here that shock tactics. They got to rely on flanking, ambush, skirmishers somewhere, somehow. They've got to do something to chip down these troops. And look at this brutal fight on the hills of this map. And over here, Iceni breaking. We've got tribal warriors. They are cutting through. Oh, look at all the javies flying overhead. Oh man, these tribal warriors are brutal. And here comes, they're like, send in fresh reserves, Galatian swords, trying to hold back the tribals. Getting some nice close-ups here of this fight. Here comes more reserves coming in, Galatian swords from the defenders. And this is, oh man, they are starting to crack in the center. Now we are seeing, here we go, we are seeing some archers come into play here, Syrian archers. They're trying to get some flank fire going on here. This is the advantage of this position. And you know, they've got, notice, the enemy's backs are turned to them as they fire. But here's the thing, guys. They're getting silenced. They're getting fired upon by the Carthaginian archers there. So great awareness from the attackers, zoning out the defending archers and protecting the flank of the Carthaginian and the Tylus attackers. Now, what do we got here? Galatian legionaries. They potentially could have flanked there, but they're now falling back, getting hit, absolutely destroyed by the skirmishers. Absolutely destroyed by the skirmishers. Galatian legionaries falling back. They're being pursued by the mercenary Gallic warriors. Throwing their javies. Now they're going to turn and they're like, you know what? Screw this. Let's face them. They charge in. And we have another clash here of some brave soldiers, which looks like, I think after all that skirmishing, these Galatian legionaries, I can't imagine them winning this fight, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Now let's head back over to the center where fresh reserves are charging. Look at this. Look at the chaos of this. The dust everywhere. All these barbarian soldiers from both sides going at it. Battling it out. Oh, look at these two. Look at these two. Come on. Oh, now he's changing targets. And he's like, you know what? Screw you. I'm going for this other guy. Wait, no, I'm going to come back to you. Let's see. Come on. Let's see an epic duel here. Come on. Get a kill. He's going in. Oh, but his opponent's slicing and dicing. Oh, he gets him in the stomach. He knees him in the stomach. But there's so many enemies. He's like, brothers, help me. I'm surrounded. And there he goes. And that is the last. Oh, he's still struggling there. But that was kind of an epic stand. I know he fell right there, but that was a beautiful fight. He survived many opponents for a long time. And we see a continuation of cycle charging and reinforcements pouring into this front line from Galatia and Iceni. And we got to see if they have enough here. They've done enough. We're going to find out soon. Let's zoom out really quick. Look at all the reserves. Look, it's mostly Carthage too. I like that Carthage is kind of a support player in this sense because they could sally out and he's ready for it. He's got some infantry ready to go to defend the flank. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of sally from the defenders. They're not going to sally out. They're not going to send any cav. They're going to rely all on their infantry. And here's the thing about Galatia. Galatia is a very cost-effective faction. So they, even though we might have seen a lot of their men perish in this battle so far, a lot of units break, they have a lot. They have, because they're so freaking cost-effective. That's why Galatia is such a good faction. I think Galatia, outside of like the mainstream factions like Rome and such, I think Galatia is a great noob starter faction because it's really basic. You bring the Galatian legionaries, you know, you don't have to, or in the Galatian swords, bring those 2 different infantry, bring the Syrian archers, and you're good to go. Now, of course, I'm not calling the Galatian player here a noob. Galatia obviously is even better in skilled hands here and a skilled commander. But if you are a newer player and you're looking for a more interesting mainstream faction, I think Galatia is the way to go. They're a great faction. Got a lot of good infantry. So here we go. Tylus is now cycle charging as well. Tribal Warriors, this unit back here getting a breather as this fresh unit is charging in and taking on a fresh unit of Galatian legionaries. Let's zoom out here. Let's look at the tactical view. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, guys. What's the balance of power looking like? Oof. Balance of power is looking rough. Looking rough for the defenders. They really need something here. Some sort of miracle. Some sort of epic play that causes mass casualties. Because I just see Tylus. Tylus is a grinding machine. They will turn these men into ground beef. How just brutal these tribal warriors are, and just how yeah, look, it just, like I said earlier, it feels like Galatia and Iceni have agreed to a meat grinder. They are playing to the strengths of Tylus and Carthage, with the support of Carthage. They're playing to their strengths. And because of that, their army is getting pulverized, beat down, sliced, diced, crushed. A slow and painful defeat. Nice little move right there by that Galatian legionary, but need a lot more of that. And here comes the cycle charge. You can see they're desperately cycle charging here. With the chosen swords and the Galatian legionaries, I'm looking at the reserves. I see some slingers. Here we go. The slingers over here getting 146 kills. That is a good sign for the defenders. They need more of that. And they're threading the needle and just firing or throwing these rocks through the woods. Any golfers watching right now? There's a saying in golf that trees are 80% air. And that's certainly true in this case. They are slinging their rocks through the trees, which are 80% air. And, yeah, getting some hits. But unfortunately, they can keep going. They can get the backs of these tribal warriors. If they can get a big victory over here, that would be huge. Yeah, if the defenders... I just feel like the defenders have been too passive. If they can get aggressive here, win on this flank and then push the rear, push behind Tylus, there is a chance. There is a chance here. I don't think it's an uphill chance, but it's a chance nonetheless. Cue Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance, That's how it kind of feels at this point. And Tylus and Carthage got the Samnite Warriors. These guys are nasty. They are nasty. They're good fighters, too. What I did there. But yeah, anyways, they're fighting a good fight. And, I think they're going to lose here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Look at all these fresh legs. These fresh soldiers. Nothing more demoralizing when You're on the last of your men. They're all tired, cut up, bleeding, sweating, they've seen their brothers in arms fall, and then you see a whole 25% of the enemy fresh and joining the fight. Tireless warriors, Carthage. They're all coming, mostly Carthage on this side. Let's see what they do. I think they're giving up some ground because they just don't have enough men to hold this entire section, so they are falling back here. Chosen sword band trying to hold, and look at this. This is a smart play by Carthage. They're like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to fight these guys up close, so I'm going to sit back and javvy them as much as possible. They don't get a ton of kills, but they have weakened them to 147, originally 160. Samnite Warriors, most likely, I think they're going to lose this fight, just considering that these guys are active. They are more depleted, or these guys are fresh and have more men. But I think reinforcements will be on the way, most likely. Or Carthage is just trying to contain this unit. Oh, now the archers are opening fire in the secondary lines. Slingers, oh, beautiful. Got a fresh slinger up here. Again, throwing over their allies and trying to get some hits there, trying to get some kills. The slingers really got to rack up the kills here. And now look at this, a nice little victory here. The tribal warriors starting to break. They got 124 kills, but they are breaking. And the chosen sword band with 33 kills, they probably could defeat this tribal warrior unit as well. But look at the fresh reinforcements coming in. Noble Cav. I guess they're not going to charge into over here. Well, they could. But Carthage is flanking around, and now we got the chariots. Ah, the chariots. Honestly, expected more chariots from Iceni. I think they needed to rely on something like this, but yeah, archers are nearby. Archers are the kryptonite of these, or skirmishers in general are the kryptonite of the chariots, so you got to keep them alive, go in at optimal times, and hopefully they can use them effectively here, because this is that's their ace up their sleeve at this point, because their infantry is on the verge of collapse. I think this is it. I think this is the last of the reserves. Actually, he's got one more unit back here. This is painted ones. What are they going to do? What, finger paint? Are they going to finger paint? Now, oh, okay. Tyla's sending in the Oathsworn. Oathsworn. I think also Tylus is another good beginner faction as well. They're so insanely strong. Oathsworn going in against the Chosen Sword Band. A battle of elites. But I think the Oathsworn have this one. Unless Iceni can send in some reinforcements of some sort. Get out! Here we go. They're actually hanging on here, guys. They're actually hanging on, but this looks like a disaster. This looks like a nightmare as Carthage continues to go and run through the empty streets, flanking their position. And what are they going to do? Are they going to charge in some noble horse here? They certainly are. Noble horse trying to keep these invaders at bay. And oh my goodness, what is a lot of friendly fire there. Got some slingers trying to support here. And here comes the chariots. Are they going to charge in? No, they're disengaging. Oh no, run! Oh, see what I mean? The kryptonite. They just saw 1, 2, 3, 4 chariots in one little volley from infantry. From Libyan infantry. Here comes more reinforcements. They've got archers, Syrian archers. They have 142 kills. They most likely are out of ammo, and they're acting as a speed bump to slow down the advance of the Carthaginians on the flank. Here comes some Chosen Swordsmen to come in support. You got to give credit to the defenders. They are doing absolutely everything in their power to try to hold on, to try to win this battle, because remember, they're fighting for their egos. They're fighting for their precious, tender, little soft egos. And they can't fall here. Or, well, people are going to laugh at them on the internet. And sure, his life will go on, and I'm sure he has real-life hobbies, and this really doesn't matter that much. But for a moment on Discord, with an alternative not alternative, but a pseudo name, I suppose, and not his real name. He's going to be made fun of for about 30 minutes if he loses this battle. Chosen swordsman cornered by the general of Oathsworn. And yeah, it looks like Tylus is cleaning up here. We're down to the last 3 minutes of this battle, and honestly, I just don't see the defenders coming out on top here. Nice position here of these mercenary Syrian archers. Guys, in the comments down below, what would you have done different if you were the defenders? Would you have fallen back sooner? Would you have brought in, maybe bring some sort of ambush, sally out force, which includes chariots, cav, ambush infantry? Or, what would you do? Because I just feel like the defenders played to the strength of the attackers, and that is why they're experiencing a slow defeat right now. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. The fat lady is warming up her vocal cords. Right, she's about to sing loud and proud here. You guys, if you don't know that expression, you're probably thinking, what the heck are you talking about? It's not over until the fat lady's singing. You ever heard that one? I guess it's more of an American. Isn't that like something from the New York Yankees or something? There's some connection, like when games were over, they had some like opera singer sing or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but yeah, the game ain't over until the fat lady's singing. And guys, the fat lady is getting ready to sing. Nice little charge here with the noble horse going into the mercenary Samnite warriors. And oh, beautiful, beautiful fight here. The chosen sword band taking on the Libyan infantry. Nice. And here comes the last of Iceni's infantry as they hold back the angry horde of Carthaginians, who at this point, it's just mostly Carthaginians. There's some Tylus troops running around, but Tylus was the spearhead of this attack, so he has, of course, experienced the most casualties. But it's all working out nicely as Carthage comes in. Oh! Nice little volley right there in the backs of those Samnite warriors. That was beautiful. Epic stand right here of the noble horse doing the best he can. He's got some skirmishers supporting him, but it's not going to be enough. There's just too many enemies. We're down to the last 30 seconds of this fight. And guys, you hear that? Oh, it's the fat lady singing. It is so over. It is so over for the defenders. And they are about to chain route here. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So Reaper comes in and displays his dominance. He puts his opponent in his place. So let's end the replay. Look at the results. So Reaper King with his ally puts Frizzer in his place. And all that smack talking falls short. Now, of course, I'm not taking this super seriously. This was just all kind of for fun. I do enjoy a little bit of a blood sport here. I'm not going to lie. But really, nothing was said that was too harsh. Nobody brought out any slurs or anything like that. It was a pretty friendly blood sport. A pretty friendly, with all things considered, a pretty friendly interaction that had some heat, had a little bit of spice, but it wasn't too spicy. So it's always fun to have players kind of go at it and settle this on the battlefield. I didn't even realize Tylus had a scorpion. I didn't even realize they had a scorpion, but here's Carthage. Here's his kills. Tylus, Reaper King did a fantastic job. And hey, let's give a shout out here to Galatia and Iceni. Iceni getting more kills, but he had more men. So you account for that, I'm sure they had pretty similar KDs here. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Again, let me know in the comments below, what could Frizzer have done and his ally to overcome this situation. Maybe pick different factions, maybe. But that's going to be it for me today. Hope you enjoyed this little blood sport siege battle. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic battles. Hopefully we'll get some more blood sports in the future. It's always good fun. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on the battlefield.